I've always looked rather fit and healthy when fitness was a big part of my identity, because yes, I had a fitness account. A lot of people would come to me asking for nutrition and fitness advice, and I would happily give them because I knew and still know a lot, I think. The thing that people didn't know at that time is that I had a really, really bad relationship with food. I was obsessed with it. I was controlling everything that I was eating, counting calories, macros, etc. I would only have the most nutritious food, and portions were super controlled. The obsession with controlling everything was counterbalanced by occasional binge eating sessions that would be punished by even more discipline, orthorexia as it is called. Now, people didn't see it because my body didn't change much, my body weight didn't fluctuate much. It was mostly in my head. I'm over that phase now, but sometimes I see stuff online that reminds me of it. One thing that I was obsessed with at that time was the what I eat in a day videos. A typical What I Eat in a Day video will feature a slim and fit girl showing all the nutritious food she eats in one day. On the thumbnails of those videos, you usually see the girl and the food, and to be frank, the majority of people who click on those videos don't do it because they are looking for new recipe ideas. No. We click on those videos because we want to measure the portions and count the calories that the hot and fit person eats in a day in order to compare and do the same, basically. What I Eat in a Day videos are porn for people suffering from an eating disorder. They provide a space where we can experience our obsession with controlling food in a way that is aesthetically pleasing and socially rewarding. I mean, if you look at the comments under those videos, the comments I myself received when I had my fitness account, a lot of people praise us for what we do. Some will say, I wish I could be that disciplined with food, or you look amazing and so healthy, or I wish I had the same body as you, blah, blah, blah. Well, that feels rewarding. We attach a certain more value to those people. We see them as better human beings, as people with character. By character, I mean reputation. Yeah, I know it's the 9th definition on the Oxford Learner's Dictionary, but that's the one I'm referring to. Building character is about forging a reputation, being validated by others, being looked up to. Back in the old days, building character was about dressing up nicely, taking care of yourself, your body. For example, Black thinkers W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington believed that Black men and women had to develop character to uplift the race. This is directly connected to the old precept mens sana in corpore sano, sound mind, sound body, by Roman poet Juvenal during the 1st century. The aesthetic of a disciplined body was understood as a reflection of one's character. The slimmer and fitter you looked, the more likely people would respect you. Actually, let me read you a passage written by Plutar, a philosopher and proto-self-help guru. Yes, I'm quoting my own book. You start the morning with a series of lengthy, difficult, and tiring physical exercises, which give you an appetite. Having done this, you have sumptuous tables served with extraordinarily rich dishes filled with the most attractive food. You place yourself before them, gaze on them, and meditate. Then you call the slaves. You give this food to the slaves and content yourself with their extremely frugal food. It sounds like today's self-help, doesn't it? When we think about ancient Greece or ancient Rome, the idea of self-discipline, the aesthetic of the body, seems to be a big deal. A few weeks ago, I was at the British Museum, also called the greatest exhibition of stolen work in the world, and went straight to the Greek statues section because I was craving that dark academia aesthetic, and gosh, they're fit. No muscle mummies there, but loads of muscle daddies and a lot of queer baiting too, let's be honest. Just to give you an example, in the city-state of Sparta, boys and girls had to go through what was later called the Spartan education. A very strict education meant to forge strong bodies and strong minds that would ensure the continuity of that civilization, its ability to defend and reproduce itself. But the emphasis on developing strong bodies and strong minds is also found in many revolutionary movements. I'll give you two examples and connect that back to the topic of the video, which is food, nutrition. The first example is the Chinese Red Army led by Mao Zedong in the 20th century. The movement was made of peasants, so it was very mobile, and because of that, revolutionaries' diet weren't very good. They didn't eat much, basically, and even invented a song to, I guess, convince themselves that the food was good or whatnot. The song goes as follows. Red rice, that pumpkin soup, hey, 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 dig wild vegetables and use them as food, hey, 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 Comrade Mao is with us, hey, 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 the meal tastes delicious and smells delicious, hey, hey, hey. The rice they mentioned in the song was eaten without much seasoning in 1927, and the pumpkin soup was commonly described as not revolutionary enough, as hunger usually returned very quickly after its consumption. Since 1978, China has increased military food subsidies 24 times. They understood the necessity to give soldiers a nutritious diet. Apparently, the army now has its own dietitian, a computer that factors in budget, training, intensity, and season to produce a choice of menus with proper nutritional balance and detailed analysis. Another example that I really want to include here is the publication of Our Bodies, Ourselves. I'm lazy, so I'm going to quote my own book again. Our Bodies, Ourselves, written by the Boston's Women's Health Book Collective, was first published in 1973. Since then, it's been upgraded many times and it has adapted to the way society evolves. The 12 college-educated women, feminists, that formed the collective decided to write an extremely accessible booklet where they would compile, with the help of professionals, everything they had learned from their own research. It revolutionized women's lives as it removed the taboo from topics like sexual health, sexual orientation, orgasm, gender identity, birth control, abortion, pregnancy, etc. So to go back, for example, to the topic of food nutrition, in the 2011 version of the book, the writers explained that during the menstrual cycle, appetite can vary a lot and cravings aren't something to be ashamed of. Later, they explain everything that is wrong with diet culture and fitness standards pushed by advertisers. And finally, they also talk about the fact that being healthy takes various shapes and forms. It looks like it's centered on the individual, but it's so much more than that. This book was a bit of a revolution, and it very much aligns with second wave feminism motto, which was the personal is political. One last example that I'm way more familiar with, the Black Panther Party. The Panthers organized breakfast programs providing nutritious food to poor children for free. They promoted their campaign highlighting that kids can't do well at school if they are hungry. Within 6 months, the Black Panther Party had free breakfast programs distributed in 23 cities across the US and had served over 20,000 kids between 1969 and 1970 alone. In California, where the Black Panther Party was based, they pressured the administration, aka Ronald Reagan, to do the same thing, and it eventually happened. School breakfast programs were authorized by Congress in 1975. Now, the programs have always been seen as a burden, an additional big government spending that should be cut. In 1980, the Omnibus Reconciliation Act was signed into law by President Jimmy Carter, a Democrat, yes. It reduced the federal school lunch and child nutrition programs' budget by approximately 8%. The Reagan administration did the same thing, but they actually went even further than that. Have you ever heard about the ketchup controversy? Yeah, so basically they decided that in order to cut costs, they would have to reduce the amount of nutritious food they give to children. But it would have been a bit too harsh to say it like that, right? They had to find a strategy to meet basic nutrition standards. And so what they did is that they rebranded ketchup and relish as vegetables. Yes, that is the joke I would tell to my parents when they complained that fast food was not good for me. Oh, but ketchup is tomato and fries are potatoes, so... But this time, it was the goddamn US government. So obviously, when faced with such incompetency, it is tempting to try to find solutions by yourself. That's what the Black Panther did. They saw that the government wouldn't help poor and healthy kids, so they created the programs themselves and then put pressure on the government to do the same thing. That strategy is what sociologist Alondra Nelson called self-health. The idea behind self-health is that communities take care of themselves outside state structures. They create their own health structures in resistance to the discrimination exerted by the state. The What I Eat in a Day videos are also part of this strategy of self-health. Gosh, yes, I know, I talked about the Chinese Red Army and the Black Panther Party in a video on What I Eat in a Day videos, but look, it will all make sense, you know me at this point. So self-health. I mean, yeah, we live in a society where we're constantly bombarded with ads promoting junk food, insane diets, etc. We're not taught at school about nutrition. We mostly rely on parents to teach their children about nutrition. But parents carry with them their own issues with food, their own insecurities, their own biases. So obviously you're going to see huge disparities between usually wealthier families with good food habits and resources and time to access nutritious food, and usually poorer families which are heavily targeted by junk food advertisement and rely on it for cheap, quick, comforting food. But instead of looking at it through a structural lens, like the Panthers did, like the Boston Collective did, the What I Eat in a Day videos tend to promote self-health as individual sovereignty. As Naomi Klein wrote in Doppelganger, Our Bodies Ourselves, the Health Bible, has been supplanted with an all-pervasive ethos of my body, my worth, the corollary of which seems to be your body, your problem. The onus is put on the individual. You have control over your own body, therefore your own health. As a friend of mine who wrote a paper on eating disorders told me, it seems that people respond to the lack of control they might have over their lives by hyper-controlling the very things they have power over: food, exercise, the body. Naomi Klein quoted Barbara Ehrenreich in Doppelganger. She writes, "It was in that context, she argued, that so many turned their attention towards perfecting the body, with treadmills replacing protest marches and free weights replacing free love." That form of self-health, the one performed by the people doing the What I Eat in a Day videos, is not driven by a sense of commitment to the community. But we have another issue there. If you remember, I started this video talking about my own experience. I showed you the pictures of me looking rather fit and healthy, it seems. But I also shared with you that my relationship with food at that time was very bad, very unhealthy. The way self-health is currently understood through the What I Eat in a Day videos, through most of the health and fitness content that we find online, is about what makes your body look good, not what makes your body and mind, mens sana, corpore sano, feel good. The emphasis on aesthetics and the idea that thinness equals health is rather new. Sure, I mentioned the Greek statues. Keep in mind that these were representations of important people or gods and goddesses. Most Greeks and Romans didn't look like that. The state didn't ask them to look hot. They asked them to train and eat properly so that they could defend themselves and protect the nation. It was self-health for state defense. Community, nation first, basically. So yeah, two very different visions, and I'm not saying that one is better than the other. I feel like both have their own flaws. But what I like about the second one, the community-focused version of self-health, is that it is way more detached from the aesthetic of the body. In that case, being healthy means being able to serve your community, and that comes in many different shapes and forms. It sees the body for what it is capable of doing, not necessarily for what it looks like. And to add one more layer to that, just to make sure that things don't get misinterpreted, the idea that one's value as an individual is reduced to what the body looks like or can do is very limiting and can be a bit eugenicistic in some aspects. With the rise of technologies, automation, the value that an individual and not just a body can bring are limitless. That's why it's crucial to break this systematic association between health, nutrition, and the body. Health nutrition also help improve the mind, especially if you're trying to get out of an eating disorder. Focusing on the fact that health and nutrition is also about how you feel inside, about how your brain functions and your mental health in general. This has helped me a lot to recover, and I hope this video showed you that it's not just about the self. Changing this sort of association, changing this very limitative vision, is also about creating a society that is more inclusive. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, the conversation continues in the comment section. Don't forget to like, to subscribe if it's not already done. I would like to thank my patrons for their support. A special thanks to top tier patrons James, Crocs, Ujva, Pablo, Patrick, Boris, Joey, Ria, Ivan, Rémi, Trébizonde, Corrigi, Toki, Tristan, Patricia, Lenny, Ian, Donage, Alex, Ren, Manuel, and Perry. And before I leave, I need to talk to you about the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. You can create your own website around your preferred aesthetic from a catalog of templates and use it as a landing platform for all the activity you do: YouTube, online shop, blog, podcast, photography, etc. Once that is set up, you can connect all your social media accounts and share content between different platforms. Squarespace can also help you create effective email campaigns to really connect with your community. Finally, they have this very cool feature where you can connect and learn from other creators like Adrien Raquel, who will show you how you can best use the platform. If you feel like Squarespace is made for you and you want to check it out, go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you've experimented and you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/alice.cappelleyt to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you Squarespace for sponsoring the video, and yeah, that's it. Salut!